Oh my God, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's James Gunn's Guardians of the Superman. We're back for another episode, another movie review with Prime Cut Podcast. And this is the follow up to the trailer reaction we had. Sometimes you go see a movie and you say, hold on, before we talk about this, I need to call in a specialist. I know a guy. We've got a guest with us today, Mikey, the comic book guru. Say what's up, Mikey.
Hey, everyone.
So
what's up, Mike?
We went and saw the movie, and
not together.
I tried to go with Joe and he refused to go. I said, why? He says, I see too much of you as is. It's not going to happen. Whatever. I don't know what that means, but here we are. Joe, what was your initial reaction to this movie after seeing it?
I really liked it. And after a day or so, I think that I really, really liked it. Like it grew in my estimation, I would say. My quick reaction. And I'm a comic book guy. I'm not a Superman guy. He's not super high on my list.
Mark, what are your initial thoughts on this?
I was surprised. I think we thought fairly highly of it in the trailer. Mark my words if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
But the way this movie came off as like just like, I don't know if it's a word, like heartwarming.
Hell yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
It's just heartwarming and just like kind of goofy and silly, man. That's my Superman. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's my guy.
How do you feel about the Zack Snyder version of Superman?
Hold on. That's a whole thing. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that.
Give Mikey the floor.
Yeah. Mikey, what did you think of this movie? What was your initial reaction to it?
I tried to go in with like no expectations at all, even though I did like the trailer. But I came out thinking like that was like a damn near perfect like comic book movie. Yeah, I loved it. Where
does Superman rank in the world of superheroes for you? Are you a Superman guy?
I'm not. I'm like Joe. I read Superman when I like the writer. When I do comics and I read them, I follow writers more than anything. I do love characters, and I'll read Swamp Thing's like my favorite, Batman's my favorite, stuff like that. But if Grant Morrison is writing Superman, I'm gonna go and pick up that Superman book.
All-Star Superman. Anything. A lot of this is pulled from All-Star Superman, which is Grant Morrison. He's great.
Right.
Greg, did you like this movie?
What about you, Greg?
Did
you hate it?
Yeah. Okay. So, I felt like here we go.
I'm closing your window.
I'm gonna get kicked out of the podcast. This is my last. Listen, I like the movie. It's good.
Okay.
I would go see it again a second time. If you haven't seen this movie, you should go see it. I know that that's going to be the stance of everybody on this podcast. With that said, if you haven't seen it, there are going to be spoilers in this episode. Turn it off. Come back and watch it later. Or if you don't care about the spoilers, cool. With that said, I felt like this movie was just Guardians of the Galaxy, but with Superman. And that's not a bad thing because I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but there's so many tropes that James Gunn does that are carried over into this movie. And some examples would be, there's a scene where Superman's talking to Lois and he's sitting on the couch. And in the background, we've got like a big super fight happening. And there's almost no attention paid to it, but that feels exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy to me. Mr. Terrific felt just like Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. So, and that's what I wanted. I wanted this to feel like Guardians of the Galaxy. So it met my expectations and I liked it.
So let's do this. I think we gotta set the table here for why this movie is being made, why it's the first movie, why are we talking about James Gunn, what's his involvement here? James Gunn is a screenwriter, he's a director. He previously was connected with the Marvel Universe. He's responsible for writing, and I believe he directed and wrote all three of Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know, Mikey, correct me there. He may not have directed the first one. Okay. There was a weird thing where Marvel fired him for a while for some strange tweets that were unearthed from like a decade before. He then went and wrote and directed the Suicide Squad for DC. Marvel brought him back for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And in the meantime, DC hired him as like their head of studio, basically.
Isn't
And
that a conflict of interest?
I don't think so.
Well, he was fired. So
He was fired.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, DC was like, come on over. He's like, okay. And then Marvel was like, shit, we kind of want you back. He's like, well, I'm already doing this stuff with DC. And they're like, that's okay. We'll just do this one movie. We want you to wrap up the Guardians trilogy. So he is a singular figure, I think, in comic book movie productions, in that he is a comic book like expert dork. And I mean that like in all, with as much respect as I can give him. He gets it. And I think that that's why, Mark, maybe even you said, Mikey, this was like a perfect comic book movie. I would like double underline the comic book part. This felt like a movie that I was reading like a comic book with splash panels and characters that were pulled from everywhere, and Z-level characters, really, which I think adds to it. And I really like that. And I think that he is the best at doing it. And so to me, like, he wrote and directed this movie. He is taking over as kind of the shepherd of DC Studios. And it's clear that he was like, I want to like set the tone. Superman is very important to DC. They cast a new Superman. They cast a new Lex Luthor. They cast a new Lois Lane. They changed the suit. The tone of this movie is completely different from the Snyderverse, which I think is a welcome breath of fresh air, in my personal opinion, for this character. And I
wanna
really
ask
think he
about
did a
that.
great job. So the first thing we got to say is, for me, before we get to that, Greg, I just want to say right off the bat, I have never really paid attention. I've in looking back at David Corenswet, who plays Superman, he plays Clark Kent Superman. I have seen him in small things. I did not really know of him very well before this movie. I thought he was spectacular, perfect. He was great. They could not have picked somebody better. I think that James Gunn has such an eye for talent to kind of pluck this guy from like the fourth guy in a TV show to being
He
Superman.
was in like Twister or something.
Yeah,
Like
he was like the
I didn't
third
even know
guy
he
in
was in
Twister.
that.
Right.
yeah.
Well, he was
He was
also
in Pearl.
he was
And
in
he's in
Pearl. He's like 40 pounds lighter in those movies, but I thought he was awesome. Rachel Brosnahan is awesome anyway. She's a great Lois Lane, super intrepid, like very much more less of like the damsel that we kind of are used to, and very like stands on her own, a good investigative journalist. And then I think Nicholas Hoult is awesome also, and I liked him as Lex Luthor. I thought the three leads, I thought he just did a great job. That's my first, right off the bat, three leads are awesome. If Lois and Clark and Lois and Superman don't have chemistry, which I don't think they did in the Snyderverse, it doesn't really work. And these two did, and he's awesome as Superman.
I feel like DC Comics as a whole saw what Marvel was doing and building up that entire universe with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they decided they wanted a slice of the pie, but they tried to rush it. And I feel
Talking
like
Snyderverse.
I'm talking all the DC movies.
Oh,
And
see, I don't agree with. I disagree.
I think that a lot of the DC movies were misses, more misses than hits, versus the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If it's coming out, it's probably a hit. There's very few misses in that world.
So, what do you consider?
It's kind of night and day. The
Yeah.
Snyderverse is like very dark and
horrible.
gritty, and
Well,
you
part
know,
of this, I think,
yeah.
Mark, part of this is that the Snyderverse, Snyder's doing he did all those. He did all those movies, except he didn't do Aquaman. I'm sorry, but he did Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and the Snyder both. Well, I guess he kind of did the first version of the Snyder cut, Justice League, that Joss Whedon came in to take over. That was released. It's terrible. The Snyder cut is also crazy weird, but it's at least
Isn't
his
it
vision.
super long?
It's like 4 hours, 3
Yeah,
something.
that's crazy.
watched it in black and white. That was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
There are parts that are
cut was
cool
pretty-
of it,
was
but
pretty
I
sweet.
just feel like this one of the things I like about what DC is doing is James Gunn's like, I'm going to run the studio, but I'm not making every movie. I'm not writing every movie. He's talking about Clayface being who's a Batman villain. He said, I saw an interview today where he's like, this is going to be a horror movie. So like,
so
he's like,
excited,
he
dude.
wants different
And it's-
tone.
Mike Flanagan doing it. I love Mike Flanagan.
Oh, Mike Flanagan's awesome. So
and they're making your Swamp Thing, Mikey. I'm right.
Yeah. Swamp Thing. It was forget his name. He's the guy who directed Logan.
Yeah, one of the
James
best,
Mangold.
probably maybe one of the best superhero movies, the solo standalone superhero movies ever made. He's going straight to Swamp Thing. It's incredible.
And it's awesome that he's like, I feel like the Snyder versions of these were like, they didn't really want to color outside the lines. Batman, Superman, they didn't want to do Green Lantern. They kind of put Cyborg in. They did a Flash movie. It's like, James Gunn's like, Swamp Thing, let's do it. Sergeant Rock, great.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we've got a lot of bad movies in there, and we got some okay ones. We got some good ones. Like the first Wonder Woman, great. Flash was good. Didn't
Flash
like
was
a lot
horrible,
of the other
dude.
things.
Flash was terrible.
I think we talked about this, but like, what does he have to lose? You give him the reins, James Gunn. You give him the reins of this whole franchise. Let him loose, dude. Just let him do whatever the hell he wants to do. It's better. It's probably going to be better. The odds of it being better are so much higher with him in charge. I'm so happy that we have a myriad of acts coming through here. We're in 2026 already. Superwoman, hello.
Supergirl, but yeah.
Supergirl.
Yeah. Lanterns is coming out. Mikey,
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
There you go.
Woman of Tomorrow.
Can you talk about the tone of the Superman character in this movie and the Snyder movies? Because they are like night and day to me.
Yeah, actually. So, and before I do that, to add on to kind of your introduction to this movie, I also felt it's a perfect comic book movie from the way it opens up. It felt like just buying a random comic book as a kid, and you kind of open it up and you just start reading, and you're like, okay, well, I kind of get what's going on here now, right?
Was this movie an origin story?
No,
I don't.
Which
think
is amazing.
It was yes, thank God.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you just jumping into like a comic book that you would pick up randomly as a kid or something, you know.
Well, and they started with the title cards of like 3,000 years ago, metahumans were, introduced or came to Earth or something. 300 years ago, 3 years ago, Superman basically has become a thing on Earth. 3 weeks ago, he stopped this conflict in these two countries, Baravia and Jalapur, I think is the two names of the countries. They're two made up countries. And then it was when I was like, oh shit, I'm into this. When it said 3 minutes ago, Superman lost his first battle and he like plummets out of the sky near the Fortress of Solitude. And he's like all beat up and you're like, oh shit, what's going on? How could Superman be like bloody? It was awesome.
Heavily inspired by like the Star Wars crawl and stuff, right?
For sure. But to your point, Mikey, it was like, this is what's happened. Superman's already got his powers. He's already in the cape. We're not going to see him as a baby, the baby Kal-El. That's not, you already understand it. We're starting.
Yeah. And so you asked me like, difference between like Superman, just kind of the way they are in general, right? Personality wise, I think to get ready for this, I went back and even though I hated it, I went and watched the Man of Steel again.
It's so good.
And as I'm like watching it, I'm like, okay, like it kind of looks cool, which I think is something you just you say about Snyder's movies in general. Is like some parts looked cool, But as I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't think anyone has smiled in this movie yet. Dude. Like I'm just thinking to myself, right? So I'm like, I know Superman hasn't smiled because I'm looking for that. I clocked it. I paused the movie. It was 50 minutes in when he finally smiles.
Oh. Awful.
And I'm like, this is a Superman movie. The dude doesn't crack a smile until 50 minutes into the movie. Yeah. Where, with the James Gunn movie, I think you see it right away. Like he kind of comes into the Daily Planet and once he sits down, I mean, dude's smiling, talking to his friends, right? I think that says like a lot about the differences between the movies. I mean, and then not to mention that, it's just the color, right? I mean,
the color's huge.
Oh gosh.
The trunks. He's wearing the trunks.
He's not wearing the red tighties.
I mean, and I
not
think
even that tight.
I think that to me, Man of Steel Superman, the Snyder Superman, is a misunderstanding of the character. Just from reading the comics, and maybe it's just the performance, the portrayal from Cavill. I don't know. It just never felt like Superman wanted to help people really in that movie. Like he he probably kills thousands of people in the
That's
combat with
dude,
Zod. It's insane.
the whole movie is him fighting on whether or not humans deserve to be saved. Like
Right.
he's struggling with
Yep.
there's his dad. There's a scene. I think this was a big scene in the comic book world. But when he's a kid and he saves the kids in the school bus from drowning, his dad is like a little upset at him, and he goes,
Counselor's like, "Why'd you do that?"
He goes, "What was I supposed to do? Just let them die?" And his dad says, "Maybe." It's a
Not Superman.
movie.
That's not
Yes.
Superman.
This Superman saves a squirrel.
Right.
What the hell?
And I think that Gunn definitely, maybe it's not a rejection of the Snyderverse per se, but it's definitely like, this is the Superman that I want to see, which is he's so sure that doing good is what he's supposed to be doing, which is refreshing. And I think, honestly, I think the best part of the movie is, aside from some cool stuff, is the 10-minute scene where he and Lois, where she's like, "Can I interview you as Superman?"
They show that in the trailer. That's one of the big pieces of the trailer.
Yeah, it's extended in the movie, and it's basically we learn that he has, previously to the movie's starting, he has stopped a conflict with a very with an ally of the United States that is very heavily militarized, attempting to basically invade or overtake this neighboring country, Jalalapur, that is not, that these people just live there. They don't have, there's not a lot of, it looks to be much more of a underdeveloped country, right? And he basically has stopped this. And there are questions about, was he acting on behalf of the United States? Did he talk to the president about this? And Lois is asking him these very pointed questions. And he is like, well, I didn't think about that. People were going to die. That whole scene where he's like, people were going to die. That is Superman. And I just liked that they were like, he hasn't totally figured it out yet, but the core of him is good and doing good and saving people. And that's what this movie was like, circling, like Superman is good. And I want to see, for me, I want to see Superman save. I love the saves. That's like my number one thing for Superman. Not so for like, yeah, Batman, I want to see some cool ninja shit in the dark. Daredevil, same type of thing. Spider-Man, I want to see the swinging with the web slinging and all that stuff. Superman, show me him like like when he saves the dog, he saves the squirrel. The scene when he saves that woman on the bridge, he catches the building, and then he rises out of the dust, and he's like, fucking awesome. It's like, that is what I want to see. And I think that it's clear to me that like one of the themes of this movie is like being a good person, and Superman is like, that is what he's about. And I really like left feeling good, which was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's the scene where he saves I think it's the kaiju fight, and he puts the woman on top of the building, and he goes, deep breaths, you're going to be okay. Like,
Right.
That is awesome.
Right.
Know?
He's such a good person, and he's not a person. That's the whole point. And then that becomes a whole thing too.
The character development with him is so rich in this movie that it makes you really see who he is and really love him in a way that maybe you don't. I don't think a lot of other movies have done. Okay, maybe the first Superman that came out, the ones in the 80s, I think those kind of have a little bit of that, but I don't think the other ones did it as well.
Dude, these are right. This movie, to me, in the rankings of the Superman movies, this is right below Superman 2. Superman 1, Superman 2, and then this one.
Interesting.
And I like those. I think those movies are very good. The first two.
Not the third one. Isn't the third one with
Richard Pryor?
It's okay. It's fun. It's fun.
But yeah, those are good. Hey, let's talk about this real quick, because there's some controversy over this. Some people were upset. Some people are unaware of the history of Superman. Krypto.
Mm-hmm. Canon.
Mark, how did you feel about Krypto?
You bring up a good point. I feel like a lot of people were very worried, and I don't understand entirely what the worry was. I love dogs, the dog that has superpowers. He flies. He has a little cape. What's to hate? I think that they used this dog very well. I think they could have super milked it. They didn't. I mean, he was kind of in danger, but again, he's a super dog. Like he's gonna be fine. He's like Superman's sidekick. I loved it, man. And apparently the adoption rates went like through the roof for these dogs now because James Gunn adopted his dog. So it only did good, man. I love that dog.
Mikey, what are your
Well-
thoughts? He's canon, right?
Yeah, well, so he I think 1955 around there is when he came. They kind of retconned him after like Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you know, like the DC universe, they kind of restart the universe like everyone. I think it wasn't until like 2001 he came back, and
Okay.
since then he's been canon. Dude, first of all, looking at the trailers, I was like, okay, I love the way he looks. Everyone knows the story that he's like James Gunn's dog, basically, that James Gunn adopted. They
You
just
just
kind of
flip the colors on him.
yeah, yeah. But I think he had to be like really cynical to be like, I don't want no stinking dog in this
For sure.
movie. It's silly, but like, I think that's like, I don't know. I think when you watch the movie, you get it, right? Like, I think it fit in there perfectly. And when you hear like James Gunn say that, like, I had this script and it wasn't until Krypto came into my mind that it all came together. Of course I need this dog in it.
There's
don't
that
think-
part, Greg, there's that part when he's talking to Lois, he's looking for the dog, Krypto's been taken, and she's like, are you going to go out there after this dog? He's like, yeah, he's not even that good of a dog, but he's probably he's alone, he's probably scared. And like, that's, come on, this is great stuff.
I was gonna bring up that part too. I was like, that's like one of my favorite lines
For
in
sure.
the movie.
For
Same.
sure.
We get a John Wick moment out of this freaking movie.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically the John Wick story, right? Yeah, that part was really, really great. And I loved Krypto through the whole movie. And I think that it could have been cheesy, but I think they did it really well. And I love how they make Krypto so bad. The other thing, though, is if you don't dislike Lex Luthor, then the part where he says that, well, we're going to run him through some tests and then we're going to put him down, instantly hate the guy. He says that in the movie. It's at that point, it's like, oh, boo this man.
I think he
so
said he was
evil.
gonna make it painful too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Nicholas Hoult was really good. Again,
Went for it.
you're kind of just dropped into like, he already knows who Superman is. He's already, well, not that he knows that he's Clark Kent, but he's aware of Superman. He's conducting this campaign to try and discredit and ultimately defeat Superman. He's envious of Superman's, acclaim and popularity because he's like, hey, I'm the smartest man in the world. I've created all this stuff. Nobody wants to give me credit because this guy can fly. I thought that was great. I thought the drones where he's basically training Ultraman by studying Superman, and he's basically commanding. He had all the different. He was going around 1A, 237C. That was cool. I'm trying to think. We probably should let's talk about the Justice Gang really quick because I thought that was awesome. One of the only things that I was a little bit nervous about in the trailers was, oh, there's a lot of people in this movie. Is this going to be like weird, too many people, not enough Superman? I think they struck the balance really well. And I think it's important for the first movie for it to be like, we're not doing an origin story. I'm throwing some other people in there. Metropolis isn't a real place. Metahumans are all over. Here they are. You're going to see them. And it was,
I have a
and we get
question.
the Justice Gang. Yeah.
Is in the comic books, were they actually called the Justice Gang?
I don't think so, Mikey.
I don't think they were ever called the Justice Gang. I think that he's just using this to kind of set it up. I mean, they're either going to be, to me, I think they're going to go with Justice Society, like JSA.
Yeah.
But it could be Justice League. But
Yeah,
I know Justice Gang. I never heard in the comics.
And there's when they go visit their headquarters, there's that huge Easter egg with all the people painted in the mural on the wall. Did you guys catch who was in the mural?
All I saw was
I just saw
Batman.
Wildcat.
Oh, Wildcat. Okay.
Wildcat was the big one.
Yeah, that's crazy that they might be bringing Wildcat to the big screen. That would be awesome.
Dr. Fate, I think, was another one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I mean, that's an Easter egg, but does that mean they're going to be in the universe?
It's awesome that I think Hawkgirl is like pretty. Is it possible that Hawkgirl is the most well known of the three that we saw? I mean, I'm a
Well, it's
Lanterns
Green
guy.
Lantern.
Yeah. What about the Lantern?
Well, it's Guy Gardner though. It's not Jon Stewart. It's not Hal Jordan. Guy Gardner is like, he's like a lower tier Lantern, even though he's awesome.
Yeah, I think you're right. It might be Hawk Girl. I mean, people know who Green Lanterns. They're probably confused. If you don't know comics, you're probably like, "Oh, this is like a character they made up for the movie."
As soon as I saw the bold cut in the trailer, I'm like, he's putting Guy Gardner in this movie. I couldn't believe it.
Okay. Can you explain for the people that don't know about the Lanterns why?
Mikey, you want to take this one?
Yeah. Like, who is this Lantern, and it kind of gives a little breakdown of the way the Lanterns work.
So it's the Green Lantern Corps, right? They kind of work for I forget the names of their blue guys that are the Guardians.
Yeah.
But they give people, and not just like humans but aliens, to get these rings and powers to protect certain sectors in the galaxy, right? So the Green Lantern that everybody knows is Hal Jordan, right? And I don't even know if I'm like comfortable saying that, because when I was growing up reading the comics, like Hal Jordan was dead in the comics.
Yeah.
Kyle Rayner
Yep.
was my Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And he's I don't, as far as I know, there's no plans to bring Kyle Rayner in. But yeah, I mean, think of like if you're comparing these to like Marvel movies, there's like the Nova Corps in the Marvel movies. It's kind of like in that same vein, except it's the Green Lantern Corps.
They're like the intergalactic police.
Yeah.
So there can be
exactly.
There's like dozens and dozens and dozens of Green Lanterns, and the ones that are human that we are most associated with from comics. Hal Jordan is the one that Ryan Reynolds played in the movie. Horrible movie, but he's like the most well-known Green Lantern probably. Jon Stewart is in the Lanterns movie, or the Lanterns show that's coming out next year, being played by our guy Aaron Pierre from Rebel Ridge. And really, and then it's probably Guy Gardner is the next one with the terrible hair. That's canon.
And we're getting Justice Gang in Peacemaker.
Yeah, I heard that
in August.
And I heard Guy Gardner's going to be in the Lantern show. But he was great, kind of some comic relief. I don't know anything about Mr. Terrific other than I know who he is. He has 14 PhDs. That's like all I know about Mr. Terrific. But
yeah, he's
genius,
right?
Right?
He's a genius. There's not there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there for Mr. Terrific, but like not too much, right? A lot of it is in the world of the JSA, right? So you're reading like JSA comics in order to get that Mr. Terrific like knowledge.
Which is cool.
Now he has a couple of like self-titled ones.
It's cool that Gunn is like, I'm going to take lower level DC people and throw them into this gigantic movie, and a lot of people,
that just makes people happy. That makes the comic book nerds so happy,
right? And if you
he did it with Guardians of the Galaxy.
They did it with Guardians. If you do it right, you
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, you get like these people that like Bloodsport being the lead of the Suicide Squad. I didn't really even read Bloodsport, but the fact that he's the lead played by Idris Elba is like a huge deal. So I think that Gunn is just so good at doing this, and it's because he's committed to the way the movies look. The colors are crazy awesome. They look like comic books. He's got the tone down. I think he wrote that scene with Lois and Clark, she's interviewing Clark as Superman. First of all, Lois already knows who Superman is. That's a huge thing. In the first movies, she doesn't know until I think 3. And the fact that she knows in this movie already is like a big thing that we got out of the way. He writes really well for all these people. I just think this was really good. There are things that didn't work for me, but they're very small.
Such as?
I thought that the Proton River black hole stuff was a little bit like heavy CGI, which I get, but it was almost like so computerized. I was like, what the hell's going on?
You can't do that in real life, Joe.
True.
Joe's like, do we not have practical effects for this?
The kaiju like totally worked for me. The Hammer of Baravia stuff, like I thought that was awesome. I thought all the Ultraman stuff was good. Gunn is not afraid to shy away from some things that seem to be very topical and relevant, controversial. a heavily armed nation invading a nation that is not heavily armed. He's like, I'm happy to write that. Arresting Superman and not reading him his rights, where he's even like, you didn't read me my rights. And Rick Flag Sr. says, you don't have any rights, which was like, oh shit.
Man, you don't have any rights.
So like, he's like, I'll talk about this stuff. Pretty courageous. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
A little bit of social commentary, if
For
you will.
sure.
Mikey, what did you say about this? You said that the right was upset about the movie, thinking that
I mean, it's just like someone was like, Superman's not like a political movie. It's just that like real life super villains exist, you know.
That's true.
They were calling it super woke, you know. It's the Fox News thing,
which is funny
Yeah.
because if you look at the earliest iterations of Superman, he says almost the exact same type of stuff that he said in this movie.
Right? Yeah.
Like, you guys don't know the character if you think that this is like a new version that's super left or woke. You guys are morons. This is exactly who
you
he's always
think
been.
Fox News is doing their due diligence and reading the comic books.
I'm interested in something because I thought this was cool, but it might be because I'm like into the comic books. So like someone that doesn't read comics, I'm interested in what, like Greg, I know you're not like super into comic books, so all the crazy wacky stuff that's going on, like like the monkeys on the computers, just like the way out there stuff that's like heavily influenced from like the 1950s comics, All-Star Superman comics. He just kind of threw there and was like, just deal with this, you know?
So were those monkeys in that comic?
I don't know I don't remember if they were in All-Star Superman.
I don't
A lot of
think
people
so.
are bringing up this old Simpsons like episode where he has
Yes.
Mr. Burns has like monkeys typing on like typewriters and stuff. But
They-
no, they were just like heavily like, you know, this is kind of stuff you would see in the 1950s and 60s.
But the
Superman
correlation is
books.
that they're bots basically writing a bunch of shit on social media, which is like, that's
Oh, it was
kind of what's
hilarious.
happening. Yeah.
Oh, that part was so funny because this is based off of there was a lot of influence from All-Star Superman, but the fact that they do this and they say these monkeys are basically just trolling him on the internet, and they show like some tweets and posts from the monkeys. I was like, that's hilarious. I thought it was really funny, and that part felt very James Gunn to me. And you know, he adds a lot of comedy to his movies, and I like that. It's fun. Joe doesn't like
Yeah.
comedies, but I do. I like them a lot.
The outdoor, I mean, the out of the realm stuff, it didn't bother you, like just to have like this crazy sci-fi stuff just thrown in the movie?
They caught me off guard. I didn't expect them to go that route. I thought that it would all take place on Earth, but yeah, it worked. It transfers very well, and it doesn't. You don't need a lot of explanation to understand what's happening here. Basically, you don't even need to read the comic books, and you'll be like, okay, yeah, this checks. This makes sense. This isn't too
what about like
complex.
Superman's robots, stuff like that too?
Awesome.
I'm talking about as well.
Love.
Yeah. The robots were cool. They were
great.
pretty endearing. They were endearing. They
Fortress
were awesome.
of Solitude was awesome.
Yeah.
And there's some voice actors behind those robots that really, you can't even tell. Michael Rooker was one of them.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, dude. There was a chick who was pretty famous.
She was the one that played the who's the antennae girl from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Palm Clementif.
Yeah, I think
that
she
was
one of the
that was
voices.
one of the. Those are some of the only crossovers from Guardians that were brought into this, which was cool.
I have a question for you, Mikey. This Lex Luthor, this hating ass Lex Luthor, he's just purely evil. He runs straight off of what seems like spite and maybe jealousy. Who knows? Is this comic book lore Luthor? Is this, because I mean, obviously the other Luthors weren't like this, like to this degree that I saw. What did we get here? What Luthor
I
is
think
this?
it's a good mix. I think a lot of his Luthor is the Luthor in All-Star Superman. The obsession that he has in All-Star Superman like equals this in the movie. And just how dark he is. I forget the name of the book. I'll have to look it up, but it's a Brian Azzarello, great artist, great I believe he writes it too. But man, he does some of the darkest stuff in that Superman book. Someone was bringing it up to me soon. So yeah, I think he just like an amalgamation. But I think if you go back and you read All Star Superman, you'll see a lot of that in there.
There's that
Well,
scene when he the end of fight, which is Lex has taken a strand of Superman's hair, created Ultraman, which is basically a clone of Superman. That's canon, but he has these. He's basically controlling him because he's studied Superman's combat style. He is like, I'm going to be able to basically mirror and mimic him with Ultraman. And there's that scene where he's like talking, but he's also conducting basically the fight. And he's like 1A, 1A, 1A. And you're like, oh, this guy just wants to punch Superman in the face, but he can't. So he gets another version of Superman to do it for him. And that's all he wants to do here. He's so mad. I thought Hoult was awesome.
He's playing Tekken with
yeah.
with the controls, and
That's
he's got
right.
like
billions and billions of dollars.
he's got all these people running the controls. He's the puppet master behind it all.
I think the people that don't, that do have a problem with this movie, like that was one thing that they brought up. Like I saw someone post like, today I learned that Superman's reflexes are slower than like Lex Luthor yelling at people to punch in keys on the keyboard or something, which I didn't agree with.
Okay,
but,
sure. One thing go ahead.
Do you want to talk about that fight scene some, Joe?
Yeah, there's a little jujitsu corner there.
There is.
Yeah, we had a good armbar from Ultraman.
We saw it, and I was like, Joe told me ahead of time, he's like, there's some jujitsu in this movie. I was like, what? Superman's doing jujitsu? So Ultraman basically puts Superman in an armbar. And I don't know, I've never tried this counter or escape before, but can you walk me through what he does there, Joe, to get out of the armbar?
Yeah, seems like he lets his shoulder dislocate. And
okay.
That's it. And the guy gets sucked into the black hole.
He swings him around and hits a rock with his. Listen, all right. I know that I'm going to get some grief for this.
If you say that you could armbar Superman, I'm going to close your window.
100%. All I need is a kryptonite cup. I will snap that arm clean off with my cup made of kryptonite. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're putting kryptonite on your balls?
Well,
what's that going to do to you, buddy?
I don't think it's going to do nothing.
You're fine with kryptonite?
I don't think it affects me.
There's some radiation in that,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if you have a kryptonite cup, you can armbar. I mean, look, Batman beats up Superman with a kryptonite ring. Am I wrong, Mikey?
He can get a couple punches off, but if there's not enough kryptonite, dude's coming back.
We saw what happened to him. I thought that was really cool that they portrayed what happens when he's just sitting next to this kryptonite. It looks like he got, sucked dry, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
terrible
I think
radiation
that's like
poisoning.
I want to say that's the only movie, Superman movie, that's like made him look, disgusting. From in the other movies, he just kind of
he's like weak.
I'm weak. Yeah, it doesn't really affect him physically.
Kryptonite poisoning, absolutely insane. What did y'all think about the family when he goes back home?
In Kansas?
Any tears in the chat?
Oh, we get the Smallville little Easter egg in the background as well when he goes there. I thought that was cool.
I love Smallville, dude.
I liked the
so
Kents.
much.
I thought they were good. We probably should speak on the decision to have Jor-El basically tell him he's being sent to conquer Earth, which is crazy. And I'm not totally sure that it wasn't manipulated by Lex, but to the Kents really quick. One of the things that I think this movie gets is that Superman is from the middle of Kansas. His parents are not going to look like two of the most attractive actors working, Diane Lane and Kevin Costner. It's okay that they don't look like them. And these people don't. They look like normal people. They look like normal people who live in a farm in Kansas. And I
heard James.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I heard James Gunn talk about how he has a friend that's from Kansas, and he had his friend send over recordings of his parents talking, and he gave that to the actors so that they can get it down.
I believe it. I buy it. I bought it. I thought
I'm
they were
from a
great.
small town. That was on the money, dude.
Yeah.
When they're talking about going to get a burrito, and they're like, oh, it's like a big deal because when you're from a small town and you go to your one restaurant, that's a big ass deal. Like that's like where family moments are made. Like that's where memories are made. And I feel like a lot of people weren't upset. Like they were like, oh, why would they care about a burrito? There's just a lot of people talking shit about this movie, and you need to fucking shut up. Because that lifestyle you might not be familiar with, but like for some people like me, I was watching, I was like, dude, that's my fucking grandpa. Like that is my actual grandpa right now. Like he's so excited.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Burrito lifestyle.
Well, really quick. So it turns out that there's this message that Cal gets from his parents, and it's like it ends up being broken, but it's basically them speaking in Kryptonian, talking about we've sent you to Earth, and the end of the message gets interpreted by Lex basically, and he reveals it, and it basically comes out to say, son, we want you to like conquer Earth, take over and rule these people. And I don't really know if that's true. I couldn't tell if we were supposed to think that that's actually what Jor-El says, or if Lex like doctored it. But Superman like goes through a crisis of identity in the movie because he's like, I can't believe my parents sent me here for that. I thought I was supposed to be like this helper and this savior, this guardian. And then he kind of speaks to his own parents, his adopted parents, the Kents, about it. And that's where you get that scene with his dad where he's like, you are good, and it doesn't matter what they say, what your parents said. You have chosen this to be this way, and so continue to do that, which I thought was really cool. An interesting twist. Don't think that's
Absolutely
canon.
money.
Don't know if it was actually real. I don't know, Mikey. Were you like, ooh, that was bad?
Again, it's not like my favorite decision, but it's not make or break
Same.
for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are like that. They're choosing that to like really hate.
Sure.
Like they probably already hated this movie, but they're like, but Jor-El, his parents from Krypton, they would never do that. And there's been iterations where, again, in the comic books, they're not telling him to like go mate with a lot of females, but like I think John Byrne's run on Superman, like in the 80s, they weren't very good people.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the two most famous Jor-El portrayals, Superman 1 is Marlon Brando, and he's on the screen kind of a lot. Man of Steel, it's Russell Crowe, and he's on screen kind of a lot in the beginning of the movie. And so you're like, you go into this thinking, oh, Jor-El's like this noble guy, and maybe we're going to see it's Bradley Cooper is the actor that's played, gets a cameo. You're like, oh, maybe we're going to get like some Kryptonian stuff. And James Gunn's like, I'm not doing any of that. You already know, or you don't. I'm going to make this one little tweak, and we're going to go. Which I liked. I think it's a bold decision, but I think it's cool. And I don't need any more Kryptonian stuff. That's the only stuff I thought was good in Man of Steel, to be honest.
Bradley Cooper had a cameo in this movie as well.
Yeah, he was Jor-El.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he was just saying. He was Jor-El. Yeah. But
Greg's asleep at the wheel.
Wake up, Greg.
Welcome to the pod, Greg.
Welcome to the podcast.
We're talking about Superman. You familiar?
Is this the one where he fights Spider-Man?
It is. All right. I know. This is one big question. What was your favorite cameo? What are we thinking here? What did we like?
Favorite cameo?
Favorite scenes? Yeah, favorite cameo, favorite scenes. What you got,
Greg?
Jeez, you're gonna put me on the spot. I think the Supergirl cameo at the end was very cool because I think that sets up. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, that sets us up for a whole other movie that we know is. I mean, it just planted the seed for them to like continue with this universe, and I'm all for it.
Mikey,
are we getting Red, Daughter of Krypton?
Oh damn,
Red, Daughter of Krypton. What we're getting actually is have y'all read Woman of Tomorrow at all?
No.
Okay.
Not.
So another thing I've learned. So Woman of Tomorrow's great, right? It is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, written by Tom King. Who
Tom King's the man.
Tom King is amazing. And I was listening to James Gunn interview. He's like, everything I write, I give to Tom King to read for his like movies and
Tom
stuff.
King's great.
So
So, like, Tom King's proofreading his homework?
I guess I don't know.
Tom
King wrote Woman of Tomorrow,
shit,
which
I'm
they're
gonna
gonna
have to look that up.
they're gonna base this comic book, or they're gonna base the movie on this comic book. So it's basically it starts off with Supergirl on a planet with a red sun getting drunk. And it becomes kind of like a revenge movie, like John Wick, like Krypto gets hurt by someone, and Supergirl goes across different planets, to find this dude.
I'm about to pick that up. I'm a big Tom
Yeah.
King guy. Omega Man, Mr. Miracle. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
Greg, you said your cameo. Mikey, what's your cameo you liked aside from Superman?
I mean, it's
Supergirl too.
It is Supergirl. Yeah, I think that was. I mean, if we want to say like Guy Gardner is a cameo,
Yeah,
I don't know, but
he's my pick.
Yeah, I would say Guy Gardner after Supergirl.
Phil Leon's awesome. Great comic relief. Guy Gardner's. I think he got the tone of Guy Gardner right. Kind of a prick, a little bit cynical, still a good guy. Mark, who's your fave?
Well, so I got a favorite scene, and it's actually what Greg was like. Oh, this is like Guardians of the Galaxy. When him and Lois are talking and all that shit's happening behind him, that scene was fucking incredible, dude. Like the conversation that they're having is so. I don't want to say deep, because that I feel like that's pretty surface level, but it's real. It's like a real conversation that they're happening, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like what's happening out there? Because James Gunn has already built this world, and you understand in this world that Superman's like, yeah, fuck, yeah, the Justin gang is taking care of that. Let's just talk and, let me spout my emotions to you. What they did with that was so like,
yeah. And I
James
think
Gunn, dude.
I think also on top of that, Mark, he's the Snyder movies to me felt like they were trying to stay as close to reality as possible.
Yeah.
And this movie is like, we're not doing that. And so that scene in particular is like, the Justice Gang is here. There's stuff going on. Metropolis, stuff like this happens all the time when they're doing the evacuation. Remember they were evacuating everybody? Everyone's like, all right, I guess we're evacuating again. Like we do this. This is like a flash flood or a tornado. Like there's something coming in. Superman's got to deal with. That happens all the time. I thought that was, he's clearly setting the tone for that. And I'm just, honestly, I couldn't be more excited about the future of DC because I like what he's doing with this movie. I think he's a comic book guy, so having him at the controls is awesome. But I also like that he's not like, I'm making all these movies. I'm going to do the Batman movie. I'm doing Clayface. He's like, no, I'm bringing in different voices, different artists. I want them to do different things. They're going to look different. I saw him interviewed today where he was like, if you pick up a stack of comic books, they don't look the same. If they're different runs, different titles, that's what we want these movies to be like. They're going to look different depending on who's making them, who's in them, what they're about. And it's like, that's what comic books are. And he gets that, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I think he took the Grant Morrison approach. If you've never read any Grant Morrison comics, go find some. They're amazing. But when he talks about comic books, I think people were comparing him to Alan Moore, which I like Alan Moore, but Alan Moore, you can kind of compare him to like Zack Snyder. He kind of wants to stay in the real world with stuff. And Grant Morrison is, what he says is like, I'm writing comic books. I don't want to be in my world. I want to go into their world.
Yeah.
I want to be in that comic book world, right? And I think we very much got that in this movie. And it's no surprise that like Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman was one of the big things.
Did you all see the cameo of Gotham City?
Yeah, the highway sign. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a highway sign when everyone's evacuating. I almost forgot about that, but one
good.
of the
Peacemaker had a little thing where he's like, they're not as jacked as me. I like caught that part. I was like, that was all right.
Yeah, he was like on a late night talk show or
like
something.
A talk show. They're just jealous. They're not as jacked as me. Like, all right, perfect.
I want to spout out the lineup that we have here. Initial reactions. We got Sandman, season 2. That's kind of related. It's already on Netflix. Season 1 was pretty good. Peacemaker season 2, Supergirl, Clayface, The Batman Part 2, Dynamic Duo with Robin, Lanterns TV series, Mr. Miracle. Then we have Batman the Brave and the Bold. We get a new Batman. That'll be fun. Then we're looking at The Authority, Swamp Things, Teen Titans movie, Bane, Deathstroke movie, Wonder Woman movie, new Wonder Woman, hello. Gal Gadot, get out of here. Waller TV series, Booster Gold TV,
Booster
Paradise
Gold.
Lost TV,
Awesome.
Blue Beetle animated series, Harley Quinn, Constantine 2, Sergeant Rock. What are we feeling, dude? Are they? Is this the new Marvel run, or
I think so. I think
looking at
if
here?
they do it right, they're gearing up to be that. It'll be nice if they do it right.
And they got the mistakes of Marvel to kind of help move them along. I think what James Gunn said about all these movies is that if you look at a stack of comic books, and there's a Batman comic, there's a Superman comic, there's a Swamp Thing comic, they're all in the same world, but they have very different tones. That's what he wants the movies to be. We're in the same universe, but they don't all have to feel like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, you know?
Awesome. I mean, Booster Gold, super, very obscure. I can't believe they're doing it. Awesome. Great. Like, I think he's got it down. I think it's in the right hands. I don't expect this to not be really good.
I agree.
I would say Marvel's on a downturn right now. This couldn't have happened at a better time. When's the last time you were excited to see a Marvel movie?
I'll tell you, man, I heard that they don't
Fantastic
have
Four.
I heard, I'm not even that interested in Fantastic Four, to be honest, right now, but I heard that they don't have the third. They're filming Avengers Doomsday, and I heard that they don't have the third act written yet. And to juxtapose that, James Gunn gave an interview recently where he was like, a lot of these movies lately, they fail because they don't have scripts that are completed and they start filming anyway. And that's not a good sign. And so it's like he gets that, he gets the comics thing. DC may be, I don't know. We'll see. They may take back the reins a little bit, which is probably why it's probably why Marvel hasn't introduced X-Men, because they're like, we got to keep, this is a trump card that we got to hold on to.
That's the ace up the sleeve for them.
Yeah.
All right. As far as Superman goes, let's rate this. Joe, what would you give this 1 through 5?
1 through 5 as a comic book movie. Like,
sure.
We're sticking with our genre, right, Greg? This isn't Godfather 2. We're all accepting that. Correct?
Yes,
I just want to make sure.
That's correct.
This is a 4.5 comic book movie for me. It was great. I loved it. And I'm not even a Superman guy, and it was awesome.
Mark?
This one gets the old 5.
5. Bam.
Yeah,
5
I thought so.
booms. This is the perfect comic book movie. I think it is one of the first movies where I wanted to go back like Mikey did and rewatch it. I haven't had that feeling in a long time. It's been, insert the Titanic meme right here. It's been 88 years. Dude, it's been so
Joe's
long.
never seen the Titanic. You can't make Titanic references for him.
Refuse.
Damn it.
Mikey, what do you give this movie?
Yeah, I too give it a 5. I did go back and watch it. I want to go back again. Like, it was, sometimes you kind of get full and you're like, oh, I liked it a lot. And you go back, yeah, maybe I didn't like it. No, I liked it even more the second time.
Oh, great. I got to see it again then. It was awesome. Greg, if you go below a 3, closing the window, bro.
I give it a 5, and I think Mikey's correct with people wanting to see it more than once. And I don't think I've seen this happen for a movie where people are like, got to go see it again, since probably Avengers Endgame. That was the last movie that I saw a lot of people going back to see over and over, and I think people are doing that with this one.
Let's just shout out before we go. Like, if you don't get Superman, the casting correct, your movie is going to suck. And you're really not setting things up well for your flagship guy is not right. And I thought that David Corenswet was awesome. Great job casting.
Olsen?
He did a great job. He's great.
Shout out Jimmy Olsen, the icon of sex.
He was good too. That kid was good. But man, they could, think about it. You could miscast this guy. And also another thing, I know we're wrapping up. They didn't cast a known guy, which I think is cool. You didn't go out and get Ryan Gosling and make him dye his hair, or Jake Gyllenhaal or something. You're like,
would have been cool. Would have been cool.
I don't think it would have been nearly as good. This guy was awesome.
Maybe not as good.
I will never see this guy not as Superman, which may be tough for him later, but he did such a great job. I think he's only bested by Christopher Reeve, and that may change come, some longer term appearances from Corenswet. I thought he was outstanding.
Christopher
He's
Reeves.
set for the next 20 years.
Christopher Reeve's son making a cameo in this movie as well.
Oh, he's also a
It's
cameo.
true.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Greg, you don't have like a little snappy outro?
My name is Greg, and I hate pretty much everything.
I don't remember my thing anymore. What is it?
It's your paper.
Get your book, Joe.
It's your
All right.
book, man. Mikey,
on.
this is the point of the show where we give a little outro. Normally, we're more prepared, so I'm going to talk and clear the dead air while he finds it. You ready,
He's
Joe?
flipping through pages.
And
I'm Joe.
I'm Joe, and I'm telling you what you should watch. It was like that. I don't know.
Hell yeah, brother. I'm Mark, and I make sure that we don't get canceled every episode. We did it great. Shout out our special guest, Mikey.
Mikey.
Shout out your Instagram, whatever you got,
Yeah, throw
buddy.
your stuff up there, Mikey. What do you got?
Oh yeah, so my Instagram is usually where I'm selling comics. It's just Mikey.gruesome.
I see this guy go
Love it.
live almost nightly selling comics on there. And I had to show up and tell him about Jean-Claude Van Damme as the original Predator.
Yeah,
He didn't believe
did
me.
break in one day, and I was like, "That's a lie," because he's known to fool me every once in a
Whoa,
while.
whoa.
Yeah.
He's a trickster. He's a
This is
The
trickster.
Scumbag.
crowd came to my rescue.
Scumbag.
Anyways, thanks for listening. We out.